Hey, what it do, y'all? What it do? Just thought y'all can see my face from time to time. I know I got my face on the avatar, but sometimes it's good to actually look at y'all and y'all can look at me. What up? So I'm just chilling here actually on the other Ray J Express, taking a little break. So just thought I'd chop it up with y'all. So while I was actually rolling and I was thinking of some things, and it was based on a video that I saw earlier. It's made by Immortal Minds. So shout out to Immortal Minds, or he calls himself Soul Immortal. At ease. So, but he talked about submission, and I've mentioned my whole idea of the art of submission, and it was based on a video that I did called "I've Never Tried to Understand Female Nature." So I think if you want to check more of that video out, you should do that. So I think you'll like it. But yeah, it's called I've Never Tried to Understand Female Nature. And in that video, I talked about the art of submission. So he talked about, I'll just go off some points that he said, because this really is not a video as a response. Uh, when people say response, that's usually because they didn't like that person. I have no issues with Soul Immortal. We've never actually spoke personally before. We've chatted off and on in a lot of different videos. And I guess, for the most part, me and him have good rapport. So I have nothing against Soul Immortal. This is not what this video is about. That's why I titled it Soul Immortal or Immortal Minds Inspiration, because his video inspired this video here. But in that video, he talked about, in regards to submission, he brought up just how it is a stigma for today's times with a lot of females and women. It's just hearing the word submission. She got to submit. Females and women, they be like, I don't submit. What? Submit to who? You got to give me something to submit to. Or they just don't even like to hear the word submission. I get it. And so his perspective was how, and I hope I get this right. If you even check this video out, Soul Immortal, but his perspective was on how a woman is not going to even submit if the man's not a provider. He talked about that, and so I take it a step further. For me, it's never really been about the fact that a man can provide or not, because a man can provide, but he has no vision. So see, that's where I'm at with it. A woman submits to a man that has vision. So that's the most important thing. So you ladies, when y'all out there and y'all thinking about a certain man you want to be around a man that has vision. Don't be around a man just because he has things, because those things can go away. And then what? What is his vision after all those things go away? You need to be around a man like that. You need to be around a man that actually has a story, so that you can get an idea of what his vision is and how his vision has carried him through all this time up to the point that he met you. So it's all about his vision from my perspective. And so Soul Immortal also brought up this idea that really it's not about him even using the word submission at all. I guess he was referring to a song that Beyonce did where it talked about the fact that she caters to her man. Once again, I take that a step further. For me, it's not necessarily about catering. Catering is just one of the acts that a woman does in regards to submission. Now, like Soul Immortal, I've come to the realization that the word submission is kind of, I don't know, in today's times, it's just kind of a hard thing for most women to deal with or listen to, per se. Yeah, I meant listen to. That's what I meant. So instead of cater, instead of submission, I use the word cooperate, because that's really the best type of woman a man can be around. I mean, you want to be around someone that's going to cooperate with you. We talk about having someone on our team, having someone, let's build the kingdom, let's do some building. Well, it takes a person that's going to cooperate with you, right? And so a lot of people have also defined submission as just simply being trust. Well, it depends on what you mean by trust. I believe the word cooperation is even more accurate than trust, because it goes back to kind of some of the things that I brought up in regards to reciprocation. I mean, more or less, it even requires faith, because you can't trust that your heart will continue to keep beating. You can't trust that your lungs will continue to expand, inflate, and deflate in order for you to breathe. You can't trust that. It's just one of those things that you hope always cooperates, you know? And so, to me, that in a nutshell represents the modern definition that I feel submission should be about. It's about a woman that is willing to cooperate. So I take it a step further than cater. Cater, if anything, it reflects a woman's cooperation. The fact that she's willing to cater to a man, you know, that represents her willingness to cooperate. And a lot of times her catering is just her way of showing that she wants to cooperate, and it's not a chore. When a woman actually caters, it's not a chore. It's for her, it's a reward. It's for her, this way of her saying thank you for being the man that you are in my life. Women do that because they want to do that. They don't feel like they have to do that. The have to part is the cooperation part. The have to, as far as I have to cooperate with this man if I want to be around this man. So if you put it in layman's terms in that simplicity, it really shatters a lot of ideas of any other preconceived notions as to what submission is and what it isn't, and the stigmas behind it. And any other word besides cooperation, it's not going to work. It's not going to be cooperative with the word cooperation. So, you know, and then you got to have this idea of understanding that, the type of woman, let me close my door on the other Ray J Express, coach, right quick. Hold on, y'all. So, one other thing I wanted to bring up that he brought up is that a lot of what he was basing certain women's challenge to submission, it's in regards to just her role, like she stays at home, I guess, and she caters to the man. He owns everything in the household under his name, and she don't have to do nothing, right? She's just at home. But from what I've gathered and from my experiences, some women don't like to sit at home like that all the time. They want to contribute. They want to help. So that brings up this other idea, the help me. The Creator said, even in this word, it's not good that a man should be alone. I will make a help me. Not a helpmate, help meet. Help meet me. Help meet me at the middle, baby. And there's times when a woman will have to meet a man at the middle, It's not good that a man should be alone. A man can't do everything on his own, That's why she's there. She's there to be your support at times. Not saying all the time, but at times, those very critical times, So I look at her as my MJ to my Bulls organization. She gonna make the shot when it counts. You dig? So and that's what she's there for. So like I said, not every woman fits in that paradigm of just wanting to sit back and lay back with her nails and her toes done. And that's it. That's all she does. Some women actually want to help. Some women actually want to contribute. So it's not shooting down Solo Mortal on anything he has to say as far as certain type of women, but just know that other type of women do not want to just sit at home. They actually want to feel a part of the vision that this man brought to her. She wants to be supportive. She truly wants to be a help me. See, Solo Mortal, he brought up the idea of, he just brought up help me, but, unfortunately, he didn't really break it down as far as what a help meet is. And, he may have his own definition, but for me, help meet is just that. Help me, just like it said in the scripture. It's not good that a man should be alone. I'll make it help me. She's there to help you, bro, when the time counts. Let her be the MJ to your Chicago Bulls organization. Real talk. And then just a few more things that Solo Mortal he brought up is just, just understanding that women are different now. And, by the time he got to that point in his video about talking about how women are different, that's when I started to feel like, yo, I'm starting to really, he really starting to chop it up real good. Now, not to say he wasn't at first, but, the fact that, yes, he understood that, a lot of things about women are different now. But as y'all know, I break down the difference between women and female. So there's a difference between the two. So to me, this means that not all are the same. Some feminine genders are real women and some feminine genders are just still typical females. So the typical females are the ones that are different now. They don't think like real women no more. And the real women still try to adhere to a lot of the old school values and old school principles because, in essence, they still want a decent man in their life. Sometimes they mistakenly use the word tradition, you know, but at least for a man, that's code word for, oh, this is a woman that wants to get it right. You know, we can work on that other stuff later. So, uh, but this idea that I wanted to round it up with, just to wrap this video up, my bad, just to wrap this video up, I wanted to round up with this. Um, Solo Mortal, he also brought up this idea about, a lot of dudes are out of their element as well, and about how men just too caught up in a lust and things like that, to where they have forgotten about the roles as men, to be focused on you and getting your bag, to where you're not so caught up in chasing these women and trying to think, I guess, what a woman should be like in your life. But see, I take that once again another step further. Of course, it says in the scripture, walk in the spirit and fulfill not the lust of the flesh. We all get that. But I should still have a certain desire for the woman in my life. I should have a sexual attraction. That's not lust. It's based on a cultivation. It's based on a cultivation. It's not based on just, how can I put this? Just being a consumer, where you just use something and then you discard it. No, I have an attraction to a woman that I want to cultivate. I want to mold her. I want to make her even better. You know what I'm saying? Just as she's complimenting me by being my helpmate. So all this is still based on this whole idea of cooperation instead of submission and instead of catering. This all works out together because she understanding that, I do look different now. I feel different ever since I've been around you. And I'm realizing that it might not even be the same once I try to call myself moving on. And that's kind of how I want to wrap that up, because you got a lot of females out here that aren't real women. They call themselves moving on, right? And they basically take the upgrade that they got from that previous man onto the next man. But yeah, you have lost your value since you called yourself moving on. You immediately lose your value, and you lose all those fine points that made you the woman that you are upon you meeting that next guy. And then you're realizing I should have stayed with the previous guy, because where I'm at today, I'm not even getting any further with this next guy that I just moved on to, So that's all based on you not being cooperating. You messed up what you had because you just weren't willing to cooperate. Pretty basic for me, pretty simple for me. But shout out to Solo Mortal, Immortal Minds. Hope you check this video out. But maybe somebody might send him a link to this video as well. And just want to give y'all my thoughts on submission, and how I can see that it could be redefined today, but it still should have the same functions. It should still be more straightforward, more self-explanatory. It should speak for itself. Her lack of cooperation will speak for itself. Signing out.